So I bought the Lamborghini for $110,000 that I was making payments via a $45,000 a year salary.
All right. Every time I see one of these cars, which is rare, I wonder how these people can afford it. Is it financed or not? What's the payment like? What do these people do for work to be able to afford such an expensive vehicle? Well, in this video, we're going to be looking at some of the answers to these questions. Welcome to the channel. If you could, please hit that like button, drop a comment. It really helps the video out. And if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing.
So when you see people driving like really expensive exotic cars, what percentage of those people have them financed and can barely afford them?
It's going to vary a little bit by market and by demographic, but I would say 75% are financed. Certainly in my sales experience, 75%.
When you say 75 financed, is that because that's the smart move to make because they got a low interest rate and it makes more sense to arbitrage the money, or is that because they just can't afford it?
No, because they cannot afford it.
So in his experience selling exotic cars, 75% of the people that are buying cannot afford the car. That is much higher than I would have thought. Now, they don't really get into the details about it, and every situation is going to be different, but the next time you see one of these amazing cars, there is a very good chance that the owner cannot afford it. Most financial experts recommend not spending more than 10 to 15% of your gross monthly income on a vehicle, which includes all the car-related expenses, not just the payment.
So I bought the Lamborghini for $110,000 that I was making payments via a $45,000 a year salary.
What were the finances like buying a Lamborghini making $45,000 a year?
I saved a lot of money. I lived very, very frugal. I'd worked in accounting for a little bit, a couple years, and I'd saved up every single penny I could. I lived with roommates. My rent was a couple $100 a month. I went to Walmart. I got frozen pizzas that were $3 instead of DiGiorno's that were $5 or $6. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't obviously do any drugs. I didn't drink soda. It was an interesting conversation with the bank, but I was able to get it done. I didn't need a cosigner or anything. And I had good credit as well. I'd had a couple car loans through this bank in the past, so I think that all helped. It was definitely very risky.
A Lamborghini on a $45,000 income. That is wild. And as I said at the end, risky. I bet this guy has some great stories though. I wonder what his coworkers were thinking. If I'm making $45,000 a year and one of my coworkers is driving a Lamborghini and I'm pulling up in my Kia, I'm going to have some serious questions. Would it be worth it to you? Would you be willing to live cheap to be able to afford to drive around in style? Let me know in the comments.
Only $1,600 to drive an exotic sports car at $150,000. We get a lot of questions asking how much the monthly payment is going to be. Do the vehicle price at $150,000. Today's interest rates with a 750 plus credit score on 144 month through a bank like Woodside Financial is going to be around 8.5%. You're looking out the door at about $159,000. If you wanted to put 10% down at about $15,000 down, that would leave you amount to finance at $145,444. We do have a bank that will go up to 144 months. So you're looking at a payment of only $1,600 to drive an exotic sports car at $150,000.
I don't know anything about the Audi R8 or even Audi for that matter, but 144 months to finance a car, 12 years, $1,600 a month for 12 years is around $230,000. Yeah. I'm sure a bank's going to be willing to screw someone over like that. That is ridiculous. This is actually new to me. I didn't know you could finance a car that long. Maybe it's different with exotics, but that's too much. That's double the average of 6 years.
How much is it going to cost you per month to drive this weapon of a car? Scuderia Graziani recently got in this 2023 Lamborghini Urus. We're going to crunch some numbers in regards to what it's going to cost you per month if you're interested in financing this asset. Price of the car is roughly $668,000, and let's just say you wanted to put down a deposit to only borrow $500,000. On a 5 years, 45% balloon structure, which is a common structure people go for when they're purchasing these type of cars, your payment's roughly going to be $6,078 per month. If the lenders were going to approve you for financing this type of vehicle, you're generally going to need the following things: strong financial showing profitability, no tax debt, and asset backing. Any questions, feel free to reach out.
It's interesting that they called it an asset. Like most vehicles, it's a depreciating asset. A new Urus loses roughly 25 to 30% in the first 3 years, which is actually better than most BMWs or Mercedes SUVs, which lose about 40 to 50%. After that, depreciation slows. A well-kept Urus at 5 years old might still be worth 65 to 70% of the original price. He also mentioned a balloon payment, meaning there's a large sum owing at the end, but didn't mention how much.
What's the payment on an SVJ? Well, my SVJ Roadster right over here cost me $16,000 a month, and that's not including insurance. With insurance, I'm about just under $17,000 every single month. And while that may sound like an insane amount of money, let me tell you why it's not, and let me tell you why it's worth it. Number one, when am I ever gonna be in my 20s again driving an SVJ Roadster? Number two, my rental business makes me anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 profit every single month, and that's with a bad month. On top of that, I have multiple businesses doing very similar numbers to that, so I make well over $100,000 profit every single month, and with that, I'm able to afford this car very comfortably. Even if I was making $20,000 profit a month, I would still buy this car and make it work. Let me tell you why. Yes, while this car might cost me $16,000 a month, it definitely makes me way more than $16,000 a month. Just say you're making $20,000 a month and you got yourself into a $16K a month payment. I can almost guarantee that your $20,000 a month that you're making right then and there would turn into at least $40,000 a month just by driving this car. SVJ is the ultimate car. Everybody knows this car. Everybody wants this car. And it allows you to get into rooms and have conversations with people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. Plus the marketing, the content, everything about this car just makes you make more money. Again, I pay $16,000 a month. I make well over $100,000 profit every single month. So I'm comfortably able to afford this car. I have a GT3 RS. I have a couple other cars as well, and it's no big deal at all.
Now, I'm not going to bash this guy and say he's wrong. He's doing amazing for himself, and he's sure doing a heck of a lot better than I am. That's for sure. But he mentioned spending $16,000 on a car even if he made 20 grand. That's crazy. That's straight up gambling at that point. I'm sure there are opportunities to make money with that car, but putting the majority of your income into a vehicle sounds insane. Let me know your thoughts.
This might be the worst car you can own.
So apparently these start at just under $2 million. So I think it's safe to say if you can afford one, the maintenance likely isn't going to hurt you that much. But why would you want to toss away that amount of money? Do you really have that much to burn? $2 million? And to me, just my opinion, but it doesn't look like that great of a car when you compare it to the price. If you had that much that you had to spend on a vehicle or vehicles, what are you buying? Let me know in the comments.
Ooh, I'm going to drive a cool car because people are going to think I'm successful. They're really not even looking at you. They're looking at the car. Yeah. When you see an awesome car, you look at the car and you think, that's a cool car. Could I ever drive that car? You start imagining yourself in that car. What do I need to do to drive that car? You're not looking at the actual driver, looking at the man or the woman and thinking, ooh, I wonder what that guy... Oh, and you start, wondering about the driver. No, you're looking at the car.
I think she's partially right there, but I do look at the driver quickly just out of curiosity, and I do question what they do for a living. I also question my own situation just a little bit there. Did I make bad choices because I'm not able to afford one? Overall, it would be amazing to be in a situation to afford one of these vehicles, but I'm not even sure I would. Everyone is going to have a different opinion on this, and it's not going to be right or wrong. It's just a personal choice. But I think when it comes to exotics, for me, they're amazing vehicles, but I think I'd rather put my money somewhere else. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one.